Consent is about consensus. How can you agree around what's going to happen so that both people have the best time? Even if it's just for a hug or a conversation or for sex or for sexual healing, it's all about finding the consensus. Deep breath. And then slowly kind of slide your way towards me. We won't do a real circle, just kind of bring yourself a little closer. Now, a lot of what you did was around one person, but how can we include everyone? Not just the person next to us or the person we're engaging with, especially around sexy times, but how can we include everyone? And it takes a lot of attention to do that. And that's why we slow down. In order to know that everyone is happy, we have to have enough attention on everyone. Who's got more than 2 kids? Yeah, you know what that's like, right? Paying attention to all your kids and plus your wife or your husband to make sure everybody's on the same page and everybody's happy. It's tough. It's hard for most people with just one person. So you guys have superpowers. I have 1 child and it's crazy. So I'd love to hear from a few people. How was the experience? It could just be what we just did around the yes, maybe, and no, but the whole hour before that. Anyone? Yeah.
I love the experience. For me, the yeses are pretty clear, and the noses are very clear, and the maybes are a huge, wide opening of really delicious exploration area that's just so unknown.
Yeah. And there's a lot of excitement in the maybe. I mean, it's fun to just go for the yes, but the not knowing can be fun too. But we have to slow down and be very caring. And I say careful, but I like caring better. Because careful is just in case something goes wrong, but caring is let's just pay attention and love each other as we move in these uncertain territories. That can be very growthful too. Anyone else? Yeah?
I noticed myself melting down as my no was recognized, and then I suddenly realized my no doesn't have to be really pushing away. It can also be more internalized in that. When I see someone is getting my no, and then it creates space again.
Thank you. I often say that a no is actually a yes to what works best for someone. Like if you're a vegetarian and I bring you a bowl of bacon, you might say no, but I know you're doing what's best for you. Same for touch. And a no can be a not now, but we can't assume that. It could be a no forever. And so we have to be curious and continue to be curious, but without pressure. And that's especially easy for men to apply pressure because women are often socialized to please. And so with enough pressure, one will say yes. That doesn't necessarily apply to you, so don't take it personally if it doesn't. But if she says yes, that's not necessarily because she wants to. She wants to. So to apply a little bit less pressure, to lean back a little bit, and to allow for enough space for her desires to emerge is really important. Yes?
Yeah. It just got me thinking about kind of what I've already been expected before coming here, and then also just noticed. But like just thinking about the power dynamics and like kind of, I guess, the stereotypes of like the results of us all growing up and existing, but like, you know, a lot of the power dynamics towards like, I guess, like people that identify as women, people that identify as men, and then like age, and like age is definitely a big part of it. I think like how that comes up in the power dynamic, and then how to get that to come across in consent, because it makes it just really affects it. Anyway.
How does it affect it?
How does it affect it? Like, I guess there's probably it naturally, like, intrinsically influences me to maybe less want to be touched by like maybe someone I would consider like much older and a dude. No offense, guys. It's just, like, and that's why I say that probably relates a lot to like from what I've like grown up with and like media and what you experience and like how like news stories and stuff are portrayed to you, and then also just I guess intrinsically biologically like my subconscious wanting to procreate and being like, oh, I need some like fresh young sexy genes or something. But then at the same time, if it's like a dude that's much older, it's kind of harder to say no. Like you maybe want to say no more, but it's kind of harder because it's like, oh, like my dad or my teacher or just like powerful older dude that could hurt me. So yeah, all of that shit comes up. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for that. So as a man, you should. I think what's important to notice is that, and it could be as a man, but it could be it could happen to anyone. Is there's different power dynamics at play that may not be obvious, and that don't come up until this person trusts you enough to actually tell you in what ways you're influencing them, and that they have a hard time saying no. And that's another reason to slow down and ask for feedback or ask for consent, even verbally. We did a lot of nonverbal feeling into consent, but the only way to know for sure is to ask. And sometimes there's double signals. Somebody was mentioning, I think it was you, Michael, the double signal. Somebody could say yes, but their body says no, or the other way around. And what I always recommend is a full alignment. Slow down, create a pause, ask for this person, how is this for you? Yes?
I noticed that when you said walk around with your full yes, I was trying to falsely walk around with like a high-end maybe. And I was like, this is weird. I'm like, yeah, like a maybe.
Yeah.
And so it was just really interesting, just recognizing that's there and like, wow, have I given myself that much time to really be like a fuck yes sort of thing, and that pause to like get that high quality resonance in myself.
Yeah.
And then when you said maybe, that was comfortable. I was like, oh yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm just maybe. So like here I am in maybe.
Yeah.
And then you said no, and I could feel no easily. However, it was really the first man I went to, I couldn't look him in the eyes.
That's great.
And then the second man I went to, right before that, you said, receive their no. And that word just like felt safe all of a sudden, like, oh. And I looked up and he was just, it was like a reverence or like an honoring. And then my no became something like rich and beautiful. Like I wasn't pushing him away, or he wasn't going to reject me because I was giving him this no. He was just receiving it and honoring it. And it felt really like a powerful in like a connection. Like there was a connection in the no.
Yeah.
So that was really, profound.
Did you guys hear that? Like there's a possibility for connection in the no if you're able to receive it as a gift.
The different kinds of no that I perceived is one where the energetic exchange is cut, eyes down, and it's a withdrawing from any connection at all. And the other is a negotiated no, that there is a energetic dance. And that there's opportunity for reflection in that. There's a sense of not wanting to be vulnerable when you cut off connection, of protecting yourself and not leaving any options open or no potential for seeing it.
Yet, right? It could just be a matter of time.
Right.
Matter of slowing down. Who's read The Little Prince? How long does it take for the fox to approach and finally sit on the Little Prince's lap? It takes 40 days or something like that. So maybe sometimes the no is, I don't know why I'm saying no now, or I don't know what the resistance is, or I don't want to tell you because I don't trust you yet. But to actually receive it fully, regardless of the explanation, can be extremely freeing. Yeah, I mean, all the women are all nodding or kind of saying, yeah, you know,
don't
there's...
need an explanation.
Yes, a no is a complete answer unto itself. If you can receive it as such and just say, is there anything else I can do to receive that no? There might be something else that follows, or not. Yes.
As a guy, an older guy myself, but one of the interesting parts of the exercise for me was I'm surprised by a yes. If I see a yes is so genuine that I can recognize it, I expect a no. So when I see a yes, it's very unusual and a little bit embarrassing. Usually I even look away. It's actually hard for me to accept a yes because I expect a no.
And we didn't do the exercise the other way around, but if we have time, that could be interesting because men are often, I will get to you in a second. She's like, she's a yes to asking a question. But it's very rare. I have a 5.5-year-old, and we've been teaching him to be able to say yes or no and respecting his yes and his no. And we often disregard men's no's as well. We expect the no to be like a very physical no, but there's some very subtle emotional no's that can be missed because men are expected to always like sex, always like touch, always want it, and it's confusing for men when they're taught that it doesn't matter, they're probably a yes. If they're hard, they're a yes. No, not necessarily. If a woman's wet, does that mean she's a yes? No, not necessarily. So there's a lot more that we can unpack. So, yes?
So I read somewhere that men, actually, there's sometimes lasting psychological consequences due to sexual rejection. And as me, like, when I'm a people pleaser, like, on some intuitive level, like, I know that my no might hurt you. So, like, what's a way to make our no's just, like, easier to receive? Maybe it is these subtleties, but it's a dance.
I can give you my recommendation.
Yeah.
Make your no generous and loving. So when you say no to someone's offer, you're not saying no to that person. You're saying no to the gift, to their offering. But you're fully receiving the person. And so they will not feel rejected because they will know that you're receiving them, even though you're not up for kissing, sex, touch, or massage, or kind of an intimate connection. And then they'll be present to having that offer being received because it wasn't it for you, and that's okay. But they'll still feel received, and they'll feel that connection in the process. And they might even have a reaction, but as you receive them, they might actually be able to face what possibly was them expecting to be fully rejected as a man or as a human being.
One of the things about that is I get triggered with no means no. Like, there's a place where, yes, I agree with it, but there's also an impact, whether a guy says no or a woman says no. So it's like, I want to honor the no, but also honor the impact that the no has at the same time. I'm wondering if you feel really disappointed, honey, because you wanted to make love tonight or something. So there's a compassion to it. It's not no and fuck you for the consequences.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like if you get all dressed up and you're planning to go out to dinner and it comes to, you know, you're like at the door ready to go and he goes, no. You go, what do you mean no? No means no, honey. And like, you know, so it's like, how do you have compassion so you can keep the connection and still have choice?
Yeah. When you can, you want to stay connected. We also live in a world where when women say no, sometimes they face dire consequences.
I understand. I'm talking more in a loving relationship rather than someplace else where it's they need to be in their total power.
Yeah. Yes.
In some of the work I've done with boundary setting, one of the phrases that seems to be a more gentle way is to make it all about, you say, that's not going to work for me at this time. And just to take any of the onus off the other and just make it about where you are and the place of choice at that moment. And even to root it, because it might work for you in a week, but doesn't work for you today, kind of thing.
And also this conversation around offers and making offerings and receiving offerings and fulfilling offers. I don't know if some of you noticed, I said at some point, if somebody touches you, you're touching back. And you have a choice around how you touch back. And it's the same thing in the emotional dance that we are with each other. And that dance does not just end with this one offer or this one rejection. It continues to the next step and the next step. And so the connection is what's most important, because we also have different parts of us, and especially young parts, that can feel really hurt when we receive a no, or when an offer is made that does not leave space for a no. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, it was really beautiful to have, after a little bit of an interaction, been invited into. Now see if you can push the boundary or the edge a little bit. Mm-hmm. And as you do that, also know to see their inner child. Uh-huh. This is the aspect that you would hurt if you betrayed their trust right now. Uh-huh. And to stay there in that, there was something exciting and really vulnerable and sweet about that. Uh-huh. So it was really a nice kind of background.
Perfect. I was like, we're going to move to the next part of this. So move to the yes side of the room and find someone to partner with. Just right now. Get up and find someone to partner with. And take a second to sit down with that person. Find a space that's comfortable. Find a time to introduce yourself to this person. This is going to be your person for a minute. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. We're all tantrics, apparently. You can stay with your partner. It's totally fine. You can play that edge if you want to. That's totally fine too. All right. So take a minute to connect with this person without words. Allow yourself to sink into your body, into your heart. Look at this person. Do you trust this person? And there's no good or bad answer. I just want you to find a starting point.
Trust them to what?
I don't know.
Good question.
Let's just start with trust. Just breathe into that. Notice the parts that say, I don't know. Notice the parts that say, yeah, bring it. Notice the parts that are maybe, it depends. Now imagine that this dance happens regardless of who you meet. Every day you meet somebody new, that conversation happens inside of you and inside of them. It may be a clear conversation, it may be a very faint one, but it's happening. Who are you? What's going to happen if we connect? Are you going to hurt me? Are you going to please me? Am I attracted to you? Does it matter? How old are you? Does it matter? Should it? All of these things. So breathe into all of these things. And see if you can trust them enough to offer one hand. And feel into that hand. Do you trust them more or less? What would it look like if you trusted them more? There's no good or bad answer. There's just the inquiry. can you communicate how you feel about this person through your hand? Not knowing what we're going to do next. In the uncertainty. Where's your heart? This is especially important for you as if you're a man. Feel into your heart. Whether you're a man or someone who has a hard time feeling, which can happen a lot to men, but not necessarily you. Can you slow down to really feel into your heart? What would need to happen, and you don't have to answer that, what would need to happen for you to trust this person more? What could happen that would make you trust this person less? What could you do to make yourself slightly more trustworthy? Some of you are already doing that. Notice if you're breathing with this person. Notice if you're responding to their faces, their smiles, their eye contact. Connection is when we imitate with our bodies, with our hearts, even with our minds, when we are in big conversations that are exciting. When we feel the same things, when we do the same things, and we say the same things, we call that connection. Ever dance with someone who can't see you, who's on the other side of the dance floor? Maybe. But most of the time, it helps if they're dancing with you. They're smiling with you and they're making eye contact. That's connection. If they cry and you cry and they laugh and you laugh, that's connection. And usually, with connection comes trust. Because they know and you know that they know and they know that you know that they know. And it goes on and on and on in this kind of weird holographic way that if something was to change for you and you needed their support, they would be right there with you. Isn't that what trust is about? Being right, feeling the other person will be right there with you. Kind of like if you were 4 or 5 and you needed something, your dad and your mom would be right there. So that's trust. That's one way of looking at it. And being trustworthy is a lot of imitation. And showing that you can. Showing that if you slow down, the other person can too. And they slow down with you. Or if they go faster, you go faster. And you're showing that you can stay together physically, emotionally. How many times has someone approached you wanting sex and you're not connected and they haven't shown you shit, but they already want to be jumping in bed with you? How much trust do you have when that happens? If you've never noticed that as a man, pay attention. Have you ever had a woman approach you, or maybe another man if that's for you, who's really not paying attention to your cues, who's not paying attention to what you want, who's not really staying with you? What if they were? What if that person was? all of that's happening inside of you and this other person as you're gathering moments of trust, moments of togetherness, which then leads you to yes. And by yes, in this case, I mean bring it. What's next? We don't know, but I know you're with me. And I know that if I'm a no, you'll get it because you're with me. And if I need space, you'll say, yeah, me too. And if you want to get closer, they'll say, hey, guess what? Me too. Because I'm with you. Having a beloved that we're deeply connected with is a lot of that. Moment to moment to moment. You look at them, they look at you. You reach out for them, they reach out for you. All those synchronicities. Or those series of yes, but yes, and yes, and of course, and yes. That's a lot of what falling in love feels like too. So now the next thing you're going to do is if you're going to pick a person A and person B, you can try the shortest hair will be person A if you want to. And you will ask that person, the person who's got the shortest hair, you will ask them, how would you like to be touched? And the other person will answer in the ways that pleases them the most. And by pleases them the most, I don't mean please them because the other person wants it, but what is your pleasure? To ask, how would you like to be touched? Is to say, what's your pleasure in touch? And the person listening, what you're going to do is you're going to do your utmost for 30 seconds to do exactly that and nothing else. Don't elaborate. Don't make it better. Don't make it different. Just do as close as possible. And after 30 seconds, the person who asked for the touch, who's receiving the touch, will say more or less of something. You'll say more speed, more pressure, less hand, or maybe ask for a different location. All right, go ahead. Do that. Keep it really simple. Really, really simple. So what you're looking for of the person responding is, what is your greatest yes in touch? It could be a massage. It could be nothing. That would be awesome. Nothing would be awesome. Because as the person who's going to be doing the touch, you would just be like, wow, I can just sit here and do the right thing. And then after 30 seconds, the person receiving will give directions. Good feedback in terms of direction. More of this, less of that. Really try to give them something to chew on and give yourself the opportunity to have it even better. For the person offering touch, just have fun with it. But really pay attention to the specific requests that keep coming your way. For the person receiving, notice how what you want may be changing. How your level of comfort might be changing. Really slowly pay attention to that. Notice if you have a hard time saying anything. If it's not it anymore, just ask to stop. And for a person giving touch, do a really good job because you're going to be switching in just a minute. And the more you give for their pleasure as well as yours, the more they will respond in the same way. Because remember, you've been connecting all of this time. Opportunities beget opportunities, and pleasure. And of course, the person giving touch should always do it within their own yes. I imagine you knew that already, but just in case. And if you're not sure, slow down. The worst that can happen is you'll be boring. It's not a big a deal. It's not that big of a deal. It's okay. Better be boring than too much. All right, slowly bring it to a close. And then once you're completed, ask the person in front of you, how was that for you? Don't say, was it good? Or did you like it? Just say how. Because how calls for so much more feedback. And the person responding, do it so that if they were to do it again, they would do an even better job knowing that. All right, go ahead. All right, so bring it to a close and then you'll be switching as soon as you're ready. So now it's time to ask the other person, how would you like to be touched? And the person touching, imagine that you're going to touch in such a way that if the other person has a choice in the matter, that they will say yes to you doing it again. You want them to be left happy and feeling great. Oh, got it. Let's see. Just a woman over there. You can ask her. So here's the thing. If you can do the simple thing and do it right, I'm specifically talking to men, but that applies to everyone. If you can do the simple thing and do it right, you're setting the stage for more awesome things. Maybe at this person's pleasure. But showing them that you can follow directions, you can take the feedback, creates more trust. Good? No. Now, if you're offering touch right now, you can say, how can I make this even more pleasurable? How can I increase your pleasure? What is your pleasure? What's your increased pleasure? There's so many ways to say this. And the person receiving, do your best to give feedback that will make this even better. Even if you're not sure, have them try something. Because for some of you, it's easy to say, oh, this is perfect. This is amazing. This is always great. The whole thing was perfect. And I challenge you to try to make it different and try to make it better. Just for the fun of it, just to see. If it's perfect, then you can go back to it after you've tried it. But this is about creating more trust in your touch for them to know that they can trust you with their body. All right. Begin to bring it to a close. Do it gently so they know that you're still with them. What's the finale? What's it going to be like? How do you make it even better just in the last few seconds so they're left wanting more? So when you come tomorrow and you say, hey, how about that foot massage again? They're going to be like, what? I get to have another one? Yes! It's always better for people to say no to good things. If you're a vegetarian and somebody brings you bacon, you can still say no and still enjoy the shit out of the fact that you said no to something that smells great.
It does not.
Huh? It does not. Okay, well, I'll have it. Okay, not for everyone, the bacon example. But it's better. Always offer good things. And if you can show that you can be trusted with somebody's body, they're going to want more good things from you. Right now, you're giving for their pleasure. And you should do it for your own as well. But it's really about them. The more you enjoy it, the more they're going to feel you enjoying it. And that creates more connection. All right, bring it to a close. And then take a minute to offer feedback to your partner so that the next time they come to you with a similar offer, they'll do it even better. And they may never do it again with you, but they might talk to their friend and their friend's friend.
then I just was like,
How could they do this even better next time? Huh?
How can people? What was the last
How
thing
could
you
people
said?
do it even better next time? Yeah. Not that they will, but if they were to, how could they? So the feedback doesn't mean there will be a yes next time. You're not saying yes for next time. You're just giving them feedback. All right, slowly bring it to a close. And then thank your partner. Find that way of saying goodbye and disconnecting in the most loving way. And then stand up and start walking. Start walking. And just be quiet for a minute. Just as you're walking, notice all these really lively people who were just touched for their own pleasure. Like notice the yes in their body. Notice the smiles. Notice how alive, notice how hot everyone is. Whew. Now what I want you to do is I want you to walk around and make offers to each other. And before you do that, I want you to not answer right away. You'll make an offer, and it could be any outrageous offer or any simple offer. And the point is not to do it on the spot. We're not going to actually do it. You're just going to feel into your body, you're going to feel into your heart, and you're going to answer. Yes, no, maybe. If it's a maybe, you are allowed to ask, what would it take for you to be a yes? And this is just an exercise. You don't have to do it later. This is about you feeling into yourself. And the answer can be, I don't know. And then you part ways with a thank you for taking care of yourself and move on. If it's a no, thank you for taking care of yourself. If it's a yes, just say, awesome, I'll see you later.
Can you say even though you didn't really try something else?
Just remain with your true yes or no. We're not role playing here.
Okay.
Okay? So make offers that can be really edgy. Okay? And feel into your yes, your no, or your maybe. Go ahead. Hey. How would you like to go to the hot tub later? Awesome. See you later. If it's a yes, you can answer with a thank you or I'll see you later. If it's a maybe, you can ask, what would it take to make it a yes? If it's a no, take a chance. Okay, so slow down. Take the time to answer. This could be really funny, but take the time to make a real offer. Take the time to get present to the offer being edgy. How would you like a kiss?
Yes, I would love one right here.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'll see you later. Take the time. Notice how edgy it is. Oh, really? Do you want to be lifted?
I asked if I could.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's awful, but
Now, don't just make a random offering. Feel into this person. How do you know them? Have you built the trust for this to happen? How would you like to be slowly undressed while I'm completely blindfolded?
Maybe.
What would it take for this to be a yes?
I don't know.
How well can you receive the maybe or the no? If you don't know what to offer, offer a hug. Offer the hot tub. Offer to have lunch together.
Thank you. Maybe later.
I was expecting something way more edgy than that. Thank you. All right, bring it to a close. Come on back to the center over here. Come on back. Come on back over here. Bring it to a close and come and sit down.
Very good.
Very good.
Super creative. I love it.
That's good. All right. How was that last piece? It was like throwing you off the deep end, it feels like. We did all this very soft, really slow exercise, and then I'm like, okay, go. Let you fly for a minute. All right, come and sit down. I love to hear some sharing from anyone who feels about the last section. Anything that came up for you? Yes.
So, I love the opportunity to say no from a place of connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the moment that I pull back my connection is when I feel the suffering. It's not in the no, it's that pulling back the connection.
Yes.
Of that divine, beautiful, God, man, or woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, when I just say no and recognize them as the divine, but still say no,
Mm-hmm.
there's a beautiful exchange and there's still that contact even after we separate. We're still connected.
Yeah, because you are still receiving this person, even though you're not taking the gift that they may be offering, because it's not for you.
Yes.
Right? A gift freely given is a gift that can be received or not. And so when you make an offer, make it a gift that the other person can fully choose. And when they can fully choose, they're left with more freedom, which actually empowers them to say a stronger yes and a stronger no later. And you stay connected with them so they can be with you in those often challenging times. It was very edgy for me. I was walking around like, oh, I don't know what I can make, if I can make a really edgy offer. Whew. Anyone else? Yes. Oh, yes.
I noticed that I actually started to enjoy the no's. Like
Ah.
the no. The maybes were harder for me than anything. But a clear no, got it. And I just had like a freedom to ask anything, because what I don't want is I don't want a maybe. Like I don't want somebody not want to give it to me and then they'll resent giving it to me. I'd rather have them go, no, that doesn't work for me, and then I can go, cool, I'll go find somewhere where there is a yes, or and it gave me freedom to just hear the no, or cool, got it, I'll go I'll still get my need met, it just won't be here.
Thank you for that. And it's also good to notice that in this day and age, it's often difficult for people to say no. So when you come at them with a question or a request or an offer that might actually call for a no, it might actually be a really crunchy time for them. Very, very very difficult, because they're gonna have to say no, and they might feel like they're disconnecting by saying that no. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the maybe?
Okay, so there's another way of calling the maybe, and I call it yes and, or no but. Like, would you like a massage? And you say yes, and I would like it on my arm. Or like I said, would you like a kiss? And you said yes, I want it here. Right? That was awesome. The no but is more like, no, I don't really want a massage, but because you still want to connect with this person, you say, I would like you to feed me a strawberry. You're just completely switching. So the maybe is kind of like, yeah, I want to connect with you, but not like this, or let me modify it a little bit. And let's find another way that's going to be a happy experience for the two of us. And so then it becomes a little bit of a negotiation that can be really fun, if they're ready for it. But for them to kind of resist the initial offering can also be really, really, really tender and really, really edgy experience. So you have to be, I mean, this is a place where we can actually approach people with offers, and we're kind of in the field of pushing those edges. But with the world out there, you have to place that offer really well for it to land well for the other person. Yes?
I really appreciated when the questions were asked with like an openness to know. Mm-hmm. That was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Give you more freedom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even if the person says no, if they're satisfied with their answer, that's more freedom for them. Mm-hmm. Especially if they were not given that choice before. You give them a choice now, and it just pushes them up a little bit in their power. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes?
I found myself far less comfortable asking questions than answering them with a yes or maybe.
That's good. Yeah, so you're a little bit more receptive instead of...
Yeah.
That's great. We need more of you. Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Now I want to get all of these offered things.
Go find them. Yeah, and this is an opportunity, right? Like the what did we do last night? What's it called again? The puja, right? The puja was just another opportunity to get to know people, and this is just an opportunity for you to go out and practice. But one thing, I don't know if some of you noticed, but I just threw you off the deep end, but really I also said slow down. The more you connect, the more you can actually give an offer that will be met with a yes. If you really know this person, you're not going to offer them something they don't want. It takes connection and time and trust building to actually make the right offer that will lead to a yes. When I first started doing this work, I was like, let me come up with some really amazing things that can only lead to a yes, or if there's a no, it will be a fun no, because it's so awesome. So I started making chocolate truffles. But I had an experience one day where a dear friend of mine, a long time ago, a dear friend of mine said no. And it hit me so hard because I took it so personally, and I dropped my plate and started crying. Wow, she said no to my chocolates. And then I realized, oh, she's not saying no to me. She's saying no to what I offered. And from that point on, I would always say, if somebody says no, I'll say, more for somebody else. Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah, totally. But every one of your offers can be exactly that. It's when you're attached and it means something about you, not about the gift. If you are so connected to this person, the chance that they'll say yes or say a no but is much higher. Because you are willing to receive their no. They feel that because you're connected. It's all about the connection. It's not about the yes or the no. Consent is all about doing it together, and you need to be connected to do it together. Anybody else? All right, thank you so much. Oh, by the way, sorry, tonight is the Tantric Masquerade. Perfect opportunity to play with your yeses and your nos on top of, it's going to be happening here, and you will be asked to put on different masks, inner masks, there's different archetypes that I made up just for this opportunity, just for this occasion. And you will be told as you arrive what these different archetypes are, and you can switch between them. There'll be different areas that you can play in if you just want to be with that archetype, or you'll be able to go in the center and engage with others and see what happens. And then tomorrow I'm doing another class called The Language of Touch. And my cat, my Persian kitty, my super princess Persian kitty, my late kitty, Grisabelle, taught me everything I know about touch and about how to engage without a word. And so I'll be teaching you through this lineage, this kitty cat lineage. And I'm the first human to learn this. So please come tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And I think it's at 2. And then I'll share everything I know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh.